City Council meeting of April 3rd, 2018 has come to order. Can we stand up for Pledge of Allegiance? Supervisor Espinoza, would you lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, please? May I have roll call, please?
Yes, roll call. Councilmember McCabe.
Present.
Councilmember Sicairos.
Present.
Acting Mayor Samra.
Present.
For the record, Councilmember Aguilar is currently not in attendance, but he is expected to show up soon. And Mayor Soria is absent, but his absence is excused.
Thank you. Changes to the agenda? Council, any changes? Staff, any changes?
Yeah, I would like, on the consent agenda, item 1 to be moved for discussion, please. To item 2.
Item 2, okay. Any other changes, council, staff? If not, we'll go to announcements and reports. Supervisor Espinoza?
Oh, now it's on. It was green, but not that. Not green. Okay. One of the Planada schools got flooded in Planada with the last rains we had, and they suffered. I think Jose Gonzalez, the superintendent, said about $700,000, and the insurance didn't cover it. No coverage. So they're looking, I guess, for somebody to blame, either MID or I don't think the county, but something happened and. They got flooded, so we were just told that they're going to be trying to get some money. And actually, with that, they asked the county to initiate a emergency emergency, so that the county can, so they might be able to go after some funds if the county initiates a state of emergency. So we'll have a special meeting on Thursday to do that at the county. And there was another business, I guess some homes and a trucking business with about 100 trucks got flooded as well, because at one point it was about 5 feet high, so it reached their engines, transmissions, differentials, and the brakes. If they get all rusty, they get locked up, and it's a lot of money. So they called the insurance, and it's kind of unfortunate. Things happen, but. Also, I have, some about 3 or 4 local farmers from around Livingston and around the county from a well driller that was defrauding a lot of people, taking deposits on, to drill wells, irrigation wells too, mainly, and it never got done. And they always told the farmers, "Hey, hold on, the county will make it up." Will make it good on the permits. So, but their wells were never drilled, and so their permits expired. So I'm trying to see if I can work something with the county supervisors where they're asking me if we can extend their permits since they got taken by this well driller. So we're in the process, and we're looking into that. And also, too, we're referring the cases to the district attorney. I know that there's possibility of 30 or 4 more farmers from around the county that got taken by this business, so so possibly there'll be more to come. So I think that's about it I got right now. So if you guys have any questions? Okay. Any questions by the public?
I received an alert weather station, that this storm that they're expecting to come in they expect it to dump a lot of rain, so. Friday, Saturday, so parts of places that had flooded before are in danger of flooding again.
Please put your name on there so we know who asked the
Catherine
question.
Show Rodriguez, P.O. Box 163, Livingston. And to follow that up with, I'm just kind of wondering what the city has in place because of, just in case the storm turns out to be as bad as they think it might.
Yeah, what we can do as far as city's planning, when Public Works makes a staff comment, perhaps he can just address that for a moment.
You know, just in mind and for the city, I know the main places is Fifth and Frank, and just turn on the pumps. But it's important for our Public Works to make sure that our drains are clear, and I know that Public Works is here and they'll be up on it. So thank you. Thank you.
Staff announcements and reports, and it looks like Public Works is already coming up.
Good evening, Your Honorable Mayor, council members, members of the public. Anthony Chavarria, Public Works. I'm here this evening to present a recent Public Works activity. Here in this picture, you have the crosswalk project at Main and J Street. Our streets crew is demoing the sidewalk and the crosswalk. More demo. And this project got held up recently because of the recent storms that came through. Some of the forming done by the concrete crew. The completed sidewalk with the ADA ramps. We're scheduling for this Thursday before school starts next Monday to have the hot mix. As you can see, it's still an opening here on this area. Those will be backfilled with hot mix and compacted before school's back in next Monday. And then we'll work on putting the wireless crosswalk lights in the crosswalk area. This is off of Hammett. We had some lifted sidewalk and that created a trip hazard. And we actually had a resident come to Public Works and tell us that their wife had fell right here in this area. And his daughter fell in the same area as well last year. So we talked to the housing authority and they did remove the tree. As you can see, it's gone here and another area, and we will be coming and repairing these trip hazards, this lifted sidewalk. There's another area off of 8th Street, Campus Park School. You can see the sidewalks lifted. This project's going to take a little more timing, and we're going to work with the school. I've contacted Nick Jones already, and we're going to have them remove the trees before we actually conduct any repairing on this sidewalk. The Parks and LMD crew installed this new bike rack installation at the Court Theater. Recently, our Parks and LMD crew Conducted a improvement project, renovation on Country Roads LMD. They planted 30 crepe myrtles. Our water crew, along with Foster Farms, installed a new meter at well 8. We had a line break behind the Apostolic Church where the water crew had to come out, and the contractor had ripped out a couple of water services that we had to come out and repair. It's a picture of the little guy's new fence and backstop. Contractor did a really great job with this fencing. Art put together the backstop along with some of the parks crew. Did a really good job. Here's a picture of a 42-inch Del Rio storm drain line that was cleaned out by the Water and Sewer Department. You can see it was pretty backed up and plugged up with sand. The guys did a really great job cleaning it out. I attended the 2000 annual Sikh Parade with my family. Had a great time out there. It was a pretty neat event. I almost asked for their card and contact information and was thinking about hiring the street sweeping crew here to clean some of our roads, the streets. There's another picture here. You can barely see them right here, but have you guys seen the Fast and the Furious? The racing movie? That's what that reminded me of with Councilmember Gopal and Happy were there lined up. Here we have on the right picture.
Just for clarification, we did not race.
Yeah, there was no racing. And the picture on the right is a picture of the chosen ones leading the parade. Last week I attended a 2018 Public Works Officers Conference put on by the League of Cities. Some of the topics that were covered were recycling, solid waste, SB 1383, organic waste reduction, drugs and sharp take-back program. What the other cities are seeing has been a problem lately has been these sharps, the needles. Not necessarily from just drug users, but from diabetics, people taking medicine. They're starting to dump it down the sewers. And when staff is cleaning the sewers, they're finding sharps, they're finding needles, which is presenting a problem. And they're actually finding it a lot in the sewer plants as they're cleaning it, and they're finding a lot of sharps and needles there as well. Talked about prevailing wage changes for 2018, emergency management, some legal updates. Really good conference, educational. Any questions?
If not, then recreation. Anything to report?
And just in response to Catherine Schell's comment about the upcoming storm, we do have plenty of sandbags already stacked up and on pallets available for residents. We do have a pile of sand as well. We've been proactive in cleaning our lines and providing maintenance on our storm drain lift station pumps. We're ready.
Thank you, Anthony. I just want you guys to know that I'm saving up and we'll be doing a PowerPoint. Might take an hour, might not tonight, but since my colleagues do the PowerPoint, I am saving up. Actually, quite a few things have been going on in recreation. We had our Easter egg hunt last weekend, and our numbers are telling us it was bigger than the last 2 or 3 years. So we had a great turnout. Kids were happy. It was really a great time. We also are hiring right now. We're looking for day camp workers, lifeguards, and umpires. So if you have teens in the area that are looking for summer jobs,
have them come see me, because we have a lot of opportunities for them. Our baseball opening ceremony, provided we don't get rained out, will be Friday night, and our games start on Saturday. Anthony did cover the backstop project, and we're going to be putting a new roof on Little Guys, as well as having it painted. So that just leads me to say, for our grand opening, we're going to have a Guns and Hoses softball game between fire and police, and we hope that you'll all come out and join us. They're already looking for ringers, and I'm already having to do a little officiating here between the two, but it's sure going to be a good time by all.
We already signed a 3-year contract, so we're done. We're ready.
Let's see, we're still looking for swim team folks, people that are interested in having their kids in swim team, summer day camp. Something new that I shared a little bit about a month ago was starting May 14th, we have music and memorial on Mondays. One of our bucket list dreams is to have concert in the park on that great stage over there. And all the bands are local, and we have 6 weeks worth of entertainment. And Mr. Russ Winton has spearheaded the whole thing, got the bands, and we're really excited to see how families can come out on Monday night, sit in the park, and enjoy music. So with that, that is about all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Okay.
Police Department?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just a quick update for the PD. And before I start, every resident should got a flyer in the water bill that talked about our next National Take Back the Drug Day, basically April 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll have our volunteers in the lobby collecting all expired, unused prescription drugs. We encourage them to turn them in rather than flushing them down the toilet, which is a common practice. So it's a national event, and we're hosting here at the PD. Oops, okay, all right. Real quickly, I always like to highlight the good work that our Explore Post has been doing, and they're actually coming up this Friday to participate in a regional Central Valley Explore competition. It's involving about 10 Explore Posts from Madera County Sheriffs all the way up to Sacramento. And our explorers are preparing now. We've got a lot of our officers and civilian staff helping them prepare with different exercises, 11 exercises, and these are very typical type exercises that you'll see in a police academy, like car stops and dealing with the domestic violence, active shooter, things like that. And I want to commend our staff for helping them to prepare. So everybody's welcome to attend. It's going to kick off on Friday, April 6th, 8 a.m. at Winton Middle School, and then it'll conclude at the federal prison about 4 p.m. with the award ceremony. And I'll just, there's our retired officer, Alan Cadiente, helping him prepare. He's actually very active in assisting them with car stops, active shooter, and marching. This is them practicing their diamond formation and active shooter. Basically, Officer Valdivia preparing them for car stops. And Detective Barkas preparing them for evidence collection at a crime scene. And moving on to the next, we assisted in the Young Women's Conference, which was last Saturday at the middle school. A great event. It's always supported by the community, and our explorers and officers were there also to assist. And this is just a great event for our community. Our Merced County One Voice contingent, consisting of our mayor and Councilmember McCabe. We had a meeting on Thursday with Congressman Jim Costa, who was preparing us for the trip. There's actually 3 strike teams. This is a great opportunity for the region to go and visit the Capitol and do what we can to kind of leverage our resources, our ability to gain grants and things like that, and let them know what's important for our region. And so it was a great meeting, and we look forward to that trip in May. I attended a security brief from Facebook. This was actually about 1 week before they actually had a security breach. This was all the people that attended the FBI National Academy were invited to this special one-day event held in Menlo Park, and it was an eye-opening experience to see the type of security measures that are in place. We got to meet with a lot of the top folks, and like I mentioned, a week later they had an incident which created some heartache for a lot of the executives over there. And one thing I know, there was Mr. Singh came to a council meeting, I think last council meeting, to invite everybody, but again, this Friday. They're going to have the Sikh American Awareness event in series. It's a luncheon. I've attended it several times along with a lot of the other folks from the city. It's a great event to network and learn a lot about American Sikhs, and so I'd encourage anybody that has some time for that event, and it's an excellent opportunity to have some good Indian food. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Fire Department. Yeah.
There's a clicker. Yeah, right, yeah.
Good evening, City Council, public. My name is Brian Ellis with the Livingston Fire Department. And just a review of our calls for March. We had 77 medical aids in the city. We had 7 vehicle accidents, 1 structure fire, 2 debris fires, 4 alarms sounding, 1 false alarm, 2 firefighter standbys, 3 public assist. And in the county, we had 18 medical aids, 4 veg fires, 20 vehicle accidents, 4 structure fires, 4 vehicle fires, 4 debris fires, 4 alarm soundings, 2 false alarms, 1 firefighter standby, and 1 hazmat. So just an update for the year to date to April 1st, we had 431 calls, which is up 20% from this time last year. In the city, we had 271 calls, which is up 23%, and 160 calls in the county, which is up 16%. Of our calls, 71% has had our PCF respond, and 11% they covered the station. And 357 calls within our area, both county and city. For training our paid staff, they completed our skill test. We do it split up between 2 months, so we finished the first half. The volunteers, they worked on their EMS. And then some of this was from last month. I just want to make sure we go over it so this way the public knows that on April 15th and here in Livingston, we'll be doing our new recruit training live burn fire. And so just want to make sure everybody knew that it would be on April 15th. So if you guys have some smoke or flames coming from here, that's actually a planned structure fire. So again, the Livingston Volunteer, the fire department, is putting on a Relay for Life April 21st at Memorial Park. And if you would like to do a 10-person team, so $100 per team, there will be the winning team will receive a prize and bragging rights. And I won't go over what Jackie just did because we don't want to start anything here at a city council meeting. And then just with the weather getting good, people are starting to do outside stuff, so I just want to remind everybody that if you're going to be digging, please call 811 to come out for free. They'll mark all your power lines, underline gas, underline electrical, so this way you don't end up hurting yourself. And that's my end of summary for today. Any questions?
Thank you. Engineering, anything to report? Planning? No report, thank you. Okay, building? Okay, Mr. Silva, anything to report? No? Okay. Legal?
Nothing tonight?
If I miss anybody? If not? Huh? Oh, code enforcement, okay. Code enforcement, sorry.
That's okay, my comments are very limited.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. My name is Lamont Mack, and am I good here?
Should be the green light. The green light should be on there.
It's on. My name is Lamont Mack with the Code Enforcement Department. I think it's been about a month since I was here reporting last on code enforcement activities in our CDBG area here. As I refer to it, this is the map here that we spoke about a month or two ago to try and acclimate. I don't know if everybody can see this. These are the project areas for our CDBG program, and what that is as I've explained before, is an area of the city, certain census tracts that we target. It's a bad word, but that we operate in to do a community preservation and code enforcement project based on certain demographics. And anyway, in the past, there were some folks that were curious about what area the cities there were. So we have this map here. So if anybody wants to take a look at that, they can do that. Also, one of the reasons I don't have much to report is that we've replaced the code enforcement officer that works here, very limited hours. So Lisa Ochoa used to be the code enforcement officer. She's now moved on to Santa Clara County. But now Lee Holt, who some of you may have met, has been in town, and she's been acclimating herself to Lisa's past cases. And now we'll be, going forward, we'll be trying to better polish our reporting system, but also kickstart more proactive activity for her now that she kind of has a handle on what the city is like and what the areas consist of. Actually, I wanted to say that Councilman McCabe brought something to my attention today. It happens to be an apartment complex that hit my radar today too, over on, I believe it's on F Street. Yes, the F Street apartments at F and 7th. But anyway, my understanding is that there are some tenants there who are having housing issues, and they've been reluctant to come forward and complain in an official capacity. So what we're going to do is we're going to work together to talk to some of those residents collectively, and just get some, let them remain anonymous, but we're going to act on behalf of the tenants there, and we're going to do some walkthrough inspections and try and bring those buildings to a livable condition. So that's going to be a new big project, and I look forward to it. That's all for me. Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Did I miss anybody from staff? If not, Mr. Chavez, anything to report as the city manager?
Yes, just the one thing. I know the city manager, Jose Antonio Ramirez, hosted a training event here in the council chambers a couple weeks ago. It was a training focusing on providing opportunities to local businesses, and it was well attended, and it was an excellent presentation. And I think those folks went away with a lot of good information on how to pursue promotions, grants, and things like that. So that's the only thing I have to report, Mayor.
Council, Mr. McCabe?
attended MCAG, was the acting chair for the last meeting. I represented us for the water stakeholders meeting for Merced County, and we appointed our citizen advisory committee. And also I attended the One Voice meeting, and that's all the report.
Mr. Scottos?
Nothing to report.
For me, I attended our LAFCO meeting, and our city finally got their MSRA in. And just to put the twist in the county, I made them first and second our approval, because I know how they are sometimes. So they wanted me to make the motion. I said, no, I want the county, but we did it. So, but anyway, it's just having a little fun out there. But we did that, and I think was pretty straightforward. They approved a new water district way out there. I forgot the name of it already, but it was a pretty routine meeting. And and also, as Public Works put out photos of the police department, our Sikh parade a couple of weeks ago, on behalf of the Sikh community, I just wanted to thank the city for all of its assistance over the years. Each year, we get better and better level of support. I never did figure out how they're going to make it better, but they do. Public Works, they were out there, police department and city as a whole, and the only one complaint I had was, I've been on the city council for a while now. We have a senior accountant who's on there for less. We had the new cars at the same time. I don't understand. I drove that green mule for years and years. How did he get into new vehicle rotation? He claims he wrote a grant, but I don't know. I'll have to look into that one. No, but seriously, everybody was great. We had fun, and it was a great event. And with that, I'm sorry? Yeah. Yeah, we raised almost 2 inches. I know you are. Okay, with that, we'll go on to public hearing, item number 1. I know this item is going to be continued. However, because it is listed, this is a resolution adopting the mitigated negative declaration in the first reading, introduction of the ordinance approving the third amendment to development agreement between the City of Livingston and JEG Livingston Ranches LLC concerning 15.9 acres on north of intersection of Robin Avenue and B Street. It is going to be continued, but because it is listed, it is up for public comment. Does anybody wish to comment on this? When you come forward, please state your name and address.
Okay, there we go, back again. Like, do a quick compare and contrast of the old agreement said this, the new agreement says that. The old agreement did this, the new one changes. Just a few quick compare and contrast points to digest all of that documentation. Anybody else on this item? If not, we'll close it to the public. Do I need to have a motion for continuation?
Yes,
At this,
comment real quick about,
go ahead, please.
Hey, Catherine, great comment, and what we'll do is, we could definitely do that, and when you look at the packet, just for the next time, the beauty of the amendment is it actually deletes a lot of the previous, so we could definitely show, but it actually takes away a lot of the other agreement that no longer applies, because the original agreement's for a larger area, which is already built out. This new development agreement is based on the old one, but we were clear to remove provisions that were no longer applicable, but we'll be ready to kind of show you that.
Thank you. City Manager, any
No,
comments
sir.
on this item?
No, sir.
Council? If not, I will entertain a motion for continuation at this time.
I move we postpone item number 1 till the next meeting.
Continue the item, right?
Yeah, continue and postpone is the same thing.
I have a motion by Councilmember McCabe. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilmember Sicaros. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember McCabe,
Aye.
Councilmember Sicairos,
Yes.
Acting Mayor Sarma.
Yes.
Motion approved 3-0.
Okay, moving on to citizen comments. This section of the agenda allows the members of the public to address the city council on any items not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized as leaders, should come forward to the lectern and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes in accordance with the state open meeting laws. No action will be taken by the city council this evening. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to address the city council as each item is brought up for discussion. This is for citizen comment. Anybody wish to come forward at this time, please do so. And please state your name and address for the record.
Honorable council members, mayor, and city manager. My name is Paul Garcia. I am a resident of Delhi, but I got roots here in Livingston. Two items that I wanted to discuss is one of them is not an agenda, but the other one had to deal with Parks and Recreation. And this month of March, I spent the whole month in Mexico. And one of the things that I saw over there, you know, as poor as the district is in that the city, I found that they had some type of machines to lose weight that it didn't require any weights or anything, and I didn't have time to ask, you know, how they got those things funded, but it'd be something to have like at both parks out there for the family that want to lose weight. Instead of going to a gym, they have the park there. In other words, you know, and people can have fun and have aerobics and then also use those machines. That's one, okay? The other thing that I wanted to bring up, you have a constituent that went to school here and graduated from Livingston High, and the last month she went before the Resource Water Board to represent Merced County, but she lives in Delhi, and her name is Haiti Sanchez. She's right here, and matter of fact, her picture was all over. In other words, you know, and I haven't seen any publications or any proclamations from Livingston or from Merced County. I really applaud this young lady because she also ran for school board in Delhi. And to me, I mean, I'm very proud of her, and I'm encouraging her also to continue, because what she represented also was the safe water, you know, that we drink. And I really admire this young lady because, you know, she went up there alone. I was unable to accompany her because I was in Mexico trying to find some resources of programs and that for Parks and Recreation and how the city is structured over there. So I really hope that you know, that the Board of Supervisors would also recognize that, you know, because this young lady is a product of Livingston, and so am I, and I'm very proud of her. So I just wanted to bring it up to your attention, that I hope you would give her some type of recognition. In other words, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Rodrigo Espinoza. Actually, I do need some names because for volunteers, we're recognizing the Board of Supervisors are actually going to give out certificates of people that volunteer around the county. So I'll be glad to get her name, and hopefully she can be at the, I don't know if about next Board of Supervisors, but at least at the end of the month in April, we can probably get her name, and we'll give her a certificate where, you know, because that's what we need is trying to get recognition of awards to people that volunteer in our county. So I'll be glad to. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, citizen comment portion is now closed. We'll move on to consent agenda. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine and non-controversial and will be enacted by one vote unless separate action is requested by city manager or city council member. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the city council or city manager request a specific item be removed. And at this time, we did have item number 2, resolution supporting the Reducing Crimes and Keeping California Act of 2018 requested to be for separate discussion. And at this time, I will send it to Chief. Item number 2, please, for public discussion.
Yes, Mayor, thank you, and thank you for the question, Councilmember McCabe. Basically, the California Police Chiefs Association has initiated this Safety Act to help resolve some of the things that were discovered as an implementation of Props 47 and 57. And the intent of 4757, the overall goals was to reduce prison overcrowding and to provide more opportunities for rehabilitation for those that are incarcerated. California Police Chiefs Association and myself, we agree with those goals. However, there were certain things that were enacted that actually caused some issues that created a backwards effect and some people to actually take advantage of some of those loopholes. So this is something that's going, right now they're in the solicitation stage, getting signatures. I think they've already got, I think they're over halfway done, what they need for the ballot measure. But they've asked all police chiefs, there's 330 police chiefs in California, municipal police chiefs, and they asked us to take the resolutions to the city council, and that's why it was brought to our city council to look at and vote on. And basically the resolution basically fixes 3 loopholes. One, there's about 18 crimes that were listed as nonviolent that provided an opportunity for early release. They like to eliminate that title of nonviolent to violent. And I'll read some of the crimes that they're going to include in that. Human trafficking of a child, abducting a minor for prostitution, rape by intoxication, rape of an unconscious person, felony sexual penetration, sodomy, oral copulation with drugs are used on a victim is unconscious. A drive-by shooting or shooting it on foot at an inhabited dwelling. That's about half of the ones I just read. And so those crimes they want to put back in the category of being violent. So those that have been convicted of those crimes will not have the opportunity for early release. The second thing, Prop 47 eliminated the collection of DNA for a lot of those crimes. Collection of DNA is extremely important in investigations, not only current investigation but for the future. There was a case that they just solved the homicide of 2 young girls, 12-year-old girls in Northern California, because the DNA was left by the suspect 30 years ago, and they were able to have the scientific methods to collect the DNA and determine who the suspect was. So the collection of DNA is extremely important to solve crime and keep those folks behind bars. And so with the passage of 47, it created a misdemeanor out of those sections where we can no longer collect DNA. So that loophole will be closed. The third one is petty theft with a prior. Before, if you committed a couple of thefts, say you went to the store and you took a battery for your car out of a store and stole it, and you got caught and you got convicted. Well, after the second time, the third time would be considered a felony, and it would basically petty theft with a prior. And so the way that the law reads now is you can commit a theft as long as the item was not more than $950, and you can commit that theft 100 times. It would still be a simple misdemeanor. You could not use any of the prior convictions for that. As a result, a lot of the property crimes went up significantly. A lot of stores experienced an increase in theft of their property, and so it's going to close that loophole. And those are basically the 3 loopholes that it's an 18-page initiative, and I just basically summarized it real quickly, but anybody, I'd be happy to provide a copy. There's a copy in the back room if you'd like to take a look at it, with a summary page on the front. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. McCabe, since you requested that, do you have any questions at this time?
Yes, Chief, do you think this will have a large increase in our prison population?
You know, that's hard to say. the idea is to keep some of those folks that commit those type of crimes behind bars. I think that's the intent.
Okay.
And-
I mean, 4 years ago, I know you were here when I started my gang transition program. And what I found is the hardest thing is keeping these young men out of jail. And what I find is once they've gone back to jail for a probation violation, it's really hard to get them back on the straight and narrow. And I'm just trying to make sure that we're not trying to put more of our sons and daughters in jail. We're trying to just be fixing the loopholes.
Yeah, well, like I said, the whole intent is to rehabilitate those folks and keep them out. And so, again, I support those ideas. It's those folks that have taken advantage of some of those loopholes that has caused additional crime, violent crime in our communities, including the murder of a police officer, that I feel those folks need to be behind bars.
Okay.
This item is now open to the public. Does anybody wish to comment on this item? Please come forward.
Catherine Shaw Rodriguez, P.O. Box 163. I want to read a few more of the kinds of crimes that will be added to the felony, added to the list. Felony assault with a deadly weapon, solicitation to commit murder, felony assault using force likely to produce great bodily injury, assault with caustic chemical, exploding a bomb to injure people, felony hate crime, felony use of force or threats against a witness or victim of a crime, felony elder or dependent adult abuse. With all due respect to Councilmember McCabe, I have a hard time thinking that the gentleman that you are working with and trying to help would necessarily fall into these kinds of classification. And I do have a feeling that had more of the voting public been aware of the loopholes that have been brought up, I have a hard time believing that these propositions would have passed the way that they did. I remember not too terribly long ago, one of the first loopholes that had to be fixed, what had to do with that $950 felony limit. It had to be $950 in order for it to become a felony, and somebody suddenly went, whoops, there are firearms that cost less than $950. We've got to plug that loophole. And so now there are more loopholes that do need to be plugged.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing nobody come forward, this item is now closed to the public. Council, Mr. McCabe, any further discussion?
None?
Mr. Sicados? To me, I understand about locking up our sons and daughters, and we do sympathize with them. But think about people that got their items taken from their home. Yeah, okay, it's $949, and it's not going to be a felony, it's going to be a misdemeanor. But that person in the home was violated. Their sanctuary, their home they're supposed to feel safe was violated.
Mhm.
I mean, if some of these crimes that include human trafficking, I find it unconscionable that these things are not taken serious. These are rape by intoxication. I mean, rape is rape. I mean, we need to quit sometimes. I understand everybody deserves a chance, but in Livingston alone, we have small group of people that have repeated burglaries. They go in, $949.59, get out. But think about the person at home. Think about if we're the ones that they came in and you were not there. They don't know. We don't know when they came in. Your kids could be home. It could happen at night. You know what? If you're gonna walk into someone's home, I don't care if it's $10. You don't do that. And I think our citizens was correct. If people had realized some of the stuff they did or what they were going to get away with, I don't think it would have gone this way either. Now, yeah, I understand we do have to help people, but there's a limit. And if somebody truly wants to reform, they can reform. There's been cases of when before this came in, people got in, they got out, and they didn't go back in, And if they truly want to get out, there's help available. But we need to also look at victims as how they feel too, not just the people committing these crimes.
Mhm.
So with that, I will now entertain a motion if anybody wishes to make a motion.
So moved.
I have motion by Councilmember McCabe. Do I have a second?
Second.
May I have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember McCabe.
Aye.
Councilmember Siqueiros.
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved 3-0.
Okay, now, still on the consent, item numbers 3 and 4. This is a resolution reappointing Francisco Mendoza Gonzalez to the Planning Commission and approval of the warrant register dated to March 28, 2018. Do I have a motion for the consent?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
I have a motion by Councilmember McCabe, second by Councilmember Siqueiros. May I have roll call, please?
Aye.
Councilmember Siqueiros.
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved 3-0.
Discussion and potential action items. A resolution adopting the new fee for the city of Livingston for the review of erosion sediment control plan or stormwater pollution preventing plan pursuant to the city of Livingston Phase 2 municipal separate sewer storm system permit and new fees for the furnishing and hookup of water meters. And this was brought by Mr. Martinez from engineering, listed, and he's already there.
Snuck
So
up there.
Mr.
Ready to go.
Martinez, you were quick. I was still trying to read this.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. Noe Martinez from the Office of the City Engineer. And with this item, staff is recommending that the City Council adopt a resolution approving new fees for the City of Livingston for the review of erosion sediment control plans or stormwater pollution prevention plans pursuant to the City of Livingston's Phase 2 municipal separate sewer storm system permit, which is also known as the MS4 regulations. This resolution would also approve new fees for the city to furnish and hook up water meters at each of the city's water services here in the city. Now, to give a little bit of background on the MS4 fees, back in 2015, the city adopted ordinance number 625 for new MS4 resolutions to protect the stormwaters within the city. Now, the MS4 regulations for construction activities require that any ground disturbance project that applies for a city permit must submit an erosion sediment control plan or a stormwater pollution prevention plan to safely manage the stormwater during construction. Now, there is a cost to the city to review these plans. So staff is proposing the corresponding fee of $561.75 per project. As you can see on the staff report, we have tabulated or broken down the fee and what the different amounts would be for each of those fee components, which would include obviously reviewing the review fee and then subsequent inspections and an administrative fee. This would total, again, $561.75. Now, to give a little background on the water meter fees, the city currently furnishes and installs residential and commercial meters for every new service in the city. Now, the reason the city does that is because this ensures that all water meters are consistent with the city specs or specifications for both manufacturer and models. This practice also allows the city to optimize the water system inventory and provides efficiency and cost savings as a result of the staff's familiarity with the system equipment. Now, the city purchases the meters directly from a local distributor, so this cost would be obviously passed on to the customer, plus a labor and an administrative fee to get the meter installed. Now, the manufacturer's meter price are subject to a consumer price index that usually fluctuates up every year. So this fee would have the corresponding escalator for that. Now, staff has determined what the meter fee would be depending on the meter size, and have provided what we're calling a fee schedule for those different type meters and meter sizes. The minimum fee for the meters would be $616.56. That would be for a 1-inch meter, which is the smallest size allowed by the city, and then it would go up depending on the size. Again, the fee would include the manufacturer's price plus the city's labor and administrative costs. With that, I would entertain any questions there may be.
Okay, council, any questions? This is now, this item is open to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on this item? Seeing no one come forward, Mr. Martino, one question I got. This is for new hookups, correct?
Yes, yeah, for every.
So if someone's meter goes out, it's not impacting the current meter user, correct?
If
Meter
some,
fee.
yeah, if someone's meter goes out, that would be a different price.
Yeah, because I believe that we already do collect fees to replace for the meter this
Correct.
time, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure of that. Okay, I don't have any questions. Does anybody else have any questions? If not, I will entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
A motion by Councilmember McCabe. Do I have a second?
I second.
A second by Councilmember Sicados. May I have roll call, please?
Okay. Roll call, Councilmember McCabe,
Aye.
Councilmember Siqueiros,
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved 3-0.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 6, this is the resolution updating building fees, and I see Mr. Hatch coming forward already.
Okay, thank you. What we have before you tonight is a resolution to update our building fees. As you might recall, the city's building services division within the Community Development Department has been a contracted service with West Coast Code Consultants. And so they provide the full range of building services, issuing building permits, doing plan checks, doing inspections out in the field, and all the other things that are part of a building department, issuing certificates of occupancy and so on. The whole idea is that the collection of permit fees is supposed to cover the costs of providing those services, so that it's kind of a net zero situation for the city. And as building activity has increased within the city, we are having development within the formerly abandoned subdivisions. They are building. We've got 4 of them actively being construction now. We have another that's in the process. So we need the ability to hire additional inspectors or increase their hours. And in order to do that, we need to have a revenue stream to do that. And the building fees that we've been currently collecting is not sufficient to cover the city's costs. And so our certified building official has taken a look at that, and I'd like to introduce Todd Barr to you as an employee of West Coast Code Consultants, but he operates as the city's certified building official. And so he has done some analysis and is proposing fees that are associated with this resolution. And so I'd like to give Todd an opportunity to make some comments, and then we'll both be available for any questions you might have.
Good evening. Todd Barr, City of Livingston, came to you through West Coast Co-Consultants. Take a minute real quick. None of this is done by yourself. We have a good team. Avita Mian and Jake Gonzalez over there. That's our building team. And they're doing a great job. And of course, they've got a lot of time into this too, and a lot of thought and kicking around. But I started last November. I'll make this brief and you guys can ask some direct questions. It's probably the best way to get to the bottom of it. But I started last November, and the first thing that was glaring was that what we call over-the-counter permits, or permits that do not require a plan review, we were just losing money on because everything was based on a valuation. There's some permits that it just does not work to base it on a valuation. And the ones where we really took it hard were in the years here in Livingston where there were actually no single-family residents that were issued. So what I did is I did an analysis of that, went back 5 years, saw that we were in pretty good shape as far as the fees go on single-family residents, larger projects, commercial projects, and ones that required, basically, to put them in a category, projects that required a plan review. The projects that were the over-the-counter permits don't require a plan review, and that's a broad statement because there are a couple that do. But basically don't require that plan review. There's a number of inspections that we weren't getting paid for. We were, maybe getting 75 or 80 bucks for a permit that was actually costing the city $250 or $300 just to administer the code on. So that's where I started. I came up with, I didn't pull this out of the air, by the way, either. There's a table, 1A, in your packet that is in the building code, is where that is initiated. That table had not been updated since 2006. I changed a couple of the multipliers in the table, basically about a 10 to 15% difference, or maybe to even out some numbers there. And that valuation for those permits, again, is going to be used, and that valuation table is going to be used for permits that require a plans examination, and then the rest of the permits were over the counter without that. Those are going to be based on the number of inspections and the cost to actually administer that permit. There's not a huge increase here. Basically, with the cost base, Table B, Table C fees, that is paying the city costs to administer the program. So if there's any direct questions here?
Council? Okay, no question from the council at this time. This item is not open to the public. Does anybody wish to come forward? If not, then this item is not closed to the public. I was looking at this, and you said that this went up about what, average of what percentage? Because there was no list of the current fees.
The thing that went up, no, there isn't a current list of current fees. On the valuation table, it went up between 10 and 15 for the multipliers on the valuation. On table B and C, the amount that it went up was the cost what it costs to administer the permit. In other words, that's charged out by inspection and with an issuance fee. So it's a cost-based fee.
Yeah, I was looking for the current fees. Yeah. The question I was asking, I wish there was the current fee schedule listed in here so I can compare what it was. There is no current fee schedule listed in here.
There's no current fee schedule in the packet?
There is none.
Okay.
It shows what the new one is proposing, but not the current one. And unfortunately, I got this, my agenda Friday, and thank you, Chief, for delivering it. And then our city manager was out, so I didn't get a chance to, and maybe I could have requested it, but I didn't get a chance. Because I did really want to know what percentage it was. Now, question I have, and I'm not sure who to ask, is does this way anyway affect what we pay you?
No.
Are your fees still remain the same?
Yes, our fees remain the same. It does not affect what you would pay us on our contract costs.
Yeah, I understand that you need to, come out equal on the other end, based on your cost. But I just kind of wish that was included, but, I don't know, I'll leave it up to the rest of the council what they think. So does anybody have any further comment or wish to make a motion?
I mean, further comment, it's a fee, so we're not able to charge more than we actually,
Right.
that actually cost us. So if we're
Right.
just passing on the cost to provide our services, I don't see a problem with it. So with that, I move we approve.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember McCabe. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Sicados. May I have roll call, please?
Councilmember McCabe,
Aye.
Councilmember Siqueiros,
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra.
If I see something out of whack, I'll bring it back and have further comments, but for now, it's yes.
Okay, motion approved 3-0.
Okay, can I make one more comment real quick? So within the municipal code, okay, there's also a requirement to review these fees every March. So you're going to see this come back to you every year. It hasn't been getting done, but there really wasn't an accurate building cost index to go by. We'll have that next year, and we'll also be able to see what these fees are doing and where we might need to reduce or even increase. So you'll see it every year.
Yeah, the reason I wanted the current fees is I understand is that we need to pay, but if I see a particular spike in a particular area, I wanted to know why there's a particular spike in that area. That was the reason for it. And I understand what you're saying, and, we need to equal out the equation, I understand.
And I'll get you a copy of that current fees. You can read through it and you can bring it back.
No, it's okay, I'll get it, so, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. Item number 7, this is a resolution terminating the 2005 Regional Transportation Impact Fee, RTIF, implementation agreement authorizing Merced County Inflation Government to manage an emergency RTIF program dated August 1, 2005, and adopting the RTIF update study dated December 15, 2016, and the associated project list. And this item, it was listed by Mr. Ramirez, but Chief, do you wish to take this item on, or?
I mean, I could take it on, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
And I was going to hand,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, through the chair.
And we do have Mr. Fell in the
Yeah,
audience.
and we will allow you to speak, of course, so.
As you remember, that we opted out of our TIF, or we suspended it. As the MCAG board, we decided to discontinue the RTIF. And so now, to finalize it, all of the cities have to come through and pass this resolution. So all of the other cities are doing this, so this is no longer a program being instituted by MCAG. It's non-controversial. I'd really like to move to approve as soon as we can, and just move on.
Yeah, you're not going to get too much argument from me here on this one. But however, before we bring it back for further discussion or from public, I do believe we have Mr. Fell from MCAG. Would you wish to make a comment, sir?
Thank you, Council. And yeah, I'm Matt Fell, Senior Planner with Merced County Association of Governments. And actually, Councilmember McCabe summarized it perfectly. You know, it has been discussed several times at the board, and that's basically the action that they undertook, was to request all 7 jurisdictions rescind or terminate the implementation agreement, and then go from there. And if you do have any questions, I could answer them, of course.
I got one question. Are you gonna be around in 12 years when we need to renew it? That's in 2030? No.
Probably not. I'm already thinking about not being around doing this, so
Don't
12
say
years
that.
probably not.
We'll have to have somebody, the mayor should be around, or somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know if these old bones can go that long, you know. Thank you, Mr. Fell. Any questions from Mr. Fell at this time? Okay, thank you, Mr. Fell. This item is now open to the public. If anybody wishes to come forward and comment? If not, this item is now closed to the public. Council, further discussion? Okay, I will entertain a motion at this time.
Yeah, move to terminate.
I have motion by Councilmember McCabe. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, that's going to feel so good after seconding, get rid of the fees. Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Scott. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember McCabe,
Aye.
Councilmember Sicairos,
Yes.
Acting Mayor Samra,
Yes.
motion approved 3-0.
Council, we don't have anything listed. Any further?
I mean, this is the fastest meeting in my tenure as a councilman, so maybe we should talk for another hour. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the only reason I ask for further discussion, if we have any, is, you know, I just want to make sure the citizens get at least a couple of more hours from us here, you know. But if not, Chief, do you have any?
No, just thank you. Good job for running the meeting. Thank you. And
Yeah, good job.
See, every time I've run the meeting, we've gotten out pretty darn quick. So let the mayor, when he comes in next meeting, let him know that this is what he's supposed to run.
Yeah.
And if there's no further business, council, we are in adjournment. Thank you.
have a good night.